Good morning, all of our families and visitors from Trinity Lutheran Christian Church, Trinity Lutheran Christian School, any visitors we have joining us online this morning. I am Ken Coughlin, bringing you your Thursday morning devotion. Our devotion today is, well, on something that's just been on my mind lately, especially since I just did another show with Pastor Jay yesterday talking all about it, and that's doubt. And he actually raised a really good verse on the show yesterday that I'm going to shamelessly steal from him for this morning's devotion. It comes from the book of Jude. Jude is a, well, frankly, not very often referred to book in the Bible, in the New Testament, written by one of the brothers of Jesus. It's only one chapter, if you even want to say that. It doesn't really have a chapter. It's all just one. Very short book. But it's a letter that Jude is writing to some Christian church. We don't know which one for sure. And what's happened is this church has allowed false teachers to start influencing it. And throughout this very short book, Jude is very clearly and unequivocally telling them that that's a bad thing. You know, that you should not be allowing yourself to be influenced by teachers who are, in essence, denying the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he uses some very strong corrective language throughout that book. But then what he does after he gives this stern correction, in the last few verses, he kind of turns his attention to, okay, now how do we deal with this? What do we do as a church? And that's where we get to verses 22 and 23, which is the subject of our devotion here this morning. What Jude says is, be merciful to those who doubt. Save others by snatching them from the fire. To others show mercy mixed with fear, hating even the clothing stained by corrupted flesh. So if you didn't get how strongly he feels about the false teachers and the false teaching, he still hits on that at the end of that phrase, hating even the clothing stained by corrupted flesh. But I want to focus on that first phrase where he says, be merciful to those who doubt. All right. We have a culture in a lot of our churches today that almost wants to pretend that doubt doesn't happen, that the people sitting in our pews never express any doubts, never feel any doubts whatsoever about their faith. And unfortunately, what happens when we have that attitude is those doubts never get addressed. We never cultivate an environment where people feel free to express those doubts. Because I've got news for you. God is the creator of all things. God is the creator of the universe. These questions, these doubts that people feel, Jesus is big enough to answer them, and there are answers available for these to kind of set people's minds at ease. But if we don't learn those answers, so we don't communicate those to the members of our congregations, then those doubts just continue to build, and they don't go away. They're just going to come back at a later time. And what James is getting at here, what Jude is getting at here, James, the other brother of Jesus, is that when people are feeling doubt, we need to be merciful towards them. All right, we need to show grace towards them. We need to give them the freedom to express those so that we can address them and kind of show them the answers to those, or allow God to show them the answers to those. Because if we don't create that kind of environment, then just like this church that he was addressing, they're going to be susceptible to being taken in by false teaching. If you have someone in your life that is feeling some kind of doubts about the Christian faith, who do you want to be the first person that talks to them about those doubts? A Christian who understands the answers to those questions, or someone who's not a Christian who wants to build those doubts up in them to lead them further away from the faith? That's the danger when we are not willing to face doubts head on and allow people to express them. So that's our lesson for today. Don't be afraid. If you start feeling some kind of doubts, this does not mean that you're not a Christian. It's natural. It happens to a lot of us, but there are answers out there and Jesus has them. Just feel free to express them to someone that you trust and to someone that you feel might be able to talk to you about those and talk through those. Don't just try to hold them inside. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed Thursday in the Lord. God bless.